Welcome back to Mettle Labs. As you know, we are a mental health agency that brings some exciting conversations and discussions that are relevant to our community live. And today I would like to introduce Kishiro Ishterling, who is one of our healthcare professionals and is here to share his story about how he got into this profession and how he goes about his day. So welcome on board, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
Happy
you for
New
having
Year.
me. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All
Same to
right.
you.
All right. Anything special happened so far for the new year, or anything that you're excited about that's coming down the pipe?
Excited about just living, actually.
Okay.
Like, I don't have anything like planned,
All right.
but I was like, 2025 is just gonna be the year of change.
I like that. It seems like everybody's kind of over, 60 days ago, everybody was anxious and worried about the politics and the new president coming in. It's like now, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, before I was like watching CNN like every single night, like nonstop. I couldn't.
Wow.
And I just got exhausted. So I was like, after the election, I was like, I'm done. Like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen at this point.
Me too, man. I've just kind of checked on out and just kind of going with the flow. And I see they're talking about the inaugurations coming up on Monday, and it's the coldest day, but over my head.
I
Okay.
have no interest.
Yeah, exactly, man.
To be honest.
All right, man. So where are you originally from?
Originally from Greenville, North Carolina.
Okay.
By way of Durham, North Carolina.
All right.
Most of my family is born and raised in Durham, North Carolina. But my mom, when she graduated from high school, she moved to Greenville to go to East Carolina University.
Okay. Well, now, how far is Greenville from here and from Durham?
From here is 4 hours.
Okay.
From here. From Durham, it's funny because my family was just here this weekend because we had a funeral.
Okay.
And I was saying how it used to take me 2 hours to get home from Durham.
Okay.
But my brother was like, no, you can get to Durham, get to Greenville 45 minutes now. I was like,
wow.
Well, I didn't know anything about that. But yeah, so they say an hour to 45, but when I was driving, it was 2 hours.
Okay,
so.
got you with that, man. So,
yeah.
Durham is the college town, man. So, what type of influence did Durham have on you? And did you go to school down there, or did you travel somewhere?
That's exactly how it happened. Like I said, my family is from there, so every holiday, every summer, I spent all my summers in Durham with my grandmother.
Okay.
And my grandmother's home, or our family house, was 2 streets over from North Carolina Central University.
Wow. Okay.
So that's all I ever really knew was North Carolina Central University.
Okay.
So growing up, I was like, I'm going there. Like, I just knew it was destined for me to go to that school.
That's what's up, man. So HBCU, North Carolina Central. What's that? The Eagles?
Yes, we were the Eagles. Yes.
All right, and it looks like because I've visited down there before. My youngest son attended there for some time. It seemed like a really passionate environment. It seemed like a really
family,
family environment. That good old HBCU vibe.
Definitely, it's definitely.
What was your experience there?
It definitely was exactly what you said. Like, like I said, my family was from there, but I used to sneak over to the campus like all the time, just see the kids, not knowing what I was looking at. But it just felt exciting, and I just remember a conversation I had with one of the. I don't know if it was a student or a teacher or what, but I just remember just me sneaking over there one time during the summer.
Yeah.
The person, was talking to me, but they made me feel like very welcomed. They didn't be like, get out of here, kid. What are you doing? It wasn't that. They was like, oh, you want to walk around, like just all that, and it was very welcoming, and it just felt right.
Yeah.
So that stuck with me too. So I was like, yeah, this probably is what's going to be for me.
Okay. All right. And then in the process of like choosing a major and going in and doing that part, what was that like?
That was interesting because all I saw, but you've been there, so. You see the North Carolina School of Law on the building.
Okay.
So that's all I saw.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer when I go to school. Not really knowing what that was about, what that entailed.
Yeah.
So I think because I said it so much, my family was like, oh, that's what you're going to do. And so because I said it so much, they started saying it so much.
Wow, okay.
So when it was time to go to school, when I got accepted, I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
I had no interest in wanting to be a lawyer. But because they kept telling me that's what I had to do, that's what I thought I was going to do.
Okay.
But it didn't work out that way.
All right, okay.
I started to have other interests as I got into school.
All right.
So.
Yeah. And then so from there, what was the journey into currently where you are now?
We could be here all day, but I can give you a short of it.
Yeah.
So how I got into I guess, mental health or just human service, if you will. So once I graduated from school, I started working at a youth development center in Butner, North Carolina. Hated it.
All right.
Absolutely hated it.
What age were you working with?
It was 10, I want to say 10 to like 17, 18 juveniles, defendant who are incarcerated. Hated it because I heard the word counselor. I applied for a counselor job. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is kind of what I think I want to go into.
Right.
It was just a title. I was just a glorified babysitter.
Oh, wow.
I was like, no, this ain't it.
And what were the ages?
I want to say 11 to 16, 11 to 17,
16,
something like that, who have committed crimes.
Wow,
Whatever. I was babysitting. I was miserable in that job. So I'm part of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated fraternity.
Right.
And so one of my frat brothers knew how miserable I was, and he was just like, why don't you try the DC area? You never know. So I shot on my resume, got an interview like 2 days later. And the rest is history. I've been here ever since. Now, as the field part of itself, what led me to counseling, because I thought the counselor role, remember? I had some things happen in life, challenges, trauma, if you will, that made me want to go into helping others and giving back. I guess advocate and give a voice for those who don't have a voice for themselves.
Understood. Yeah.
So that's what kind of led me into this field.
Into kind of the counseling area. And I know that we're gonna I'm gonna ask you a few questions more about that. So getting up into the DC area, what was the experience like trying to adjust from North Carolina up to this area?
For me, it was fine. I was fine.
All right.
My wife, on the other hand, it was a challenge.
All right. Okay.
Because mind you, we were both from North Carolina.
Yeah.
But she was very, very family oriented, very close to her family and the friends that we had built at school. So imagine getting married in July and then you getting whisked away in September.
Wow.
All that's happening so fast.
Interesting. So you all moved up here basically right after school. Is that accurate?
Well, I graduated in 99.
Okay.
We got married in 2002.
Okay. All right.
So I was at that miserable job for a little while before I got here. But yeah, it was for me, it was fine because I always been that person. I felt like I said, from Greenville.
Yeah.
But I always felt since the age of 5 years old, I was like, this is not where I want to be. I just did not feel right being there. And that, I think that says a lot. At 5, you knew something like that.
That's right.
And I was like, I got to get out of here. Yeah. So going to a bigger city, a faster paced city, that's always been in me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, so coming, it was fine for me, but it was an adjustment for her. You know what I mean? So it was very challenging because you freshly married, and then you have to deal with a whole new life that you're trying to build.
I get that, man. So you naturally, it sounds like you got married at a young age. What age?
I was 25.
Wow.
I was 25.
Yeah, and you guys have been married. How many years is that?
It'll be 23 years in July.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
How do you make it work? Like, I think a lot of people would be really admire and want to know what the secret sauce is there.
Communication. Okay. It's communication. Is marriage easy? No. Anyone who will tell you that, they're lying.
Yeah.
But I think for us, it's just talk.
Okay.
Communicate.
All right.
Tell me how you feel, what's going on, why you feel this way. And that's always been me. I'm a talker. Yeah. You know what I mean? Most of my friends come to me because when they have any issues. Yeah. Because I'm that person.
Okay. And you're a girl dad.
I am 2 girls.
Okay. All right.
15 on Monday and 11.
All right. Okay. Congratulations. So it certainly sounds like you guys are a really close and tight-knit unit.
Yeah, very much.
The unit, how often do you guys go back to North Carolina or come up? or the other family come up?
So when we first moved there, people didn't want to come up at all. Like I said, small town. Yeah. People kind of just stuck in their ways. They're not big on traveling. And mind you, it's 5 hours for her family, 4 for mine. So it's not far.
Right.
But, people just not into, they just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So we used to go home a lot.
Okay.
But now, not so much. Maybe like 3 or 4 times a year we'll go to my wife's home in Winston-Salem. Okay. But me, I rarely go back to Greenville. Like, when I left for school, I never look back.
Gotcha.
So the only reason I go home now is for my mom. She's still in Greenville.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, but she comes here so much, I don't really have to go.
Yeah.
To Greenville.
I got you with that.
So.
Yeah. All right. And so as far as, it sounds like since leaving school, there was an original job that was posted for a counselor. Mm-hmm. tried that. It was glorified babysitting. 11 to 16-year-olds
who committed crimes.
The assumption is that an 11-year-old who's committing crimes is just quote unquote bad, But what was it, in spite of the fact you didn't like that as a space there, but what were some of the things that you saw in 11, 12, 13-year-olds that they were going through that resonated with you, that still sticks out to you today?
Actually, that's a good question. I think a lot of them were just misguided. Maybe just fell into the wrong crowd. Didn't have a lot of parental guidance at home. Which also, even though I didn't like the job, it taught me something at that job. And it taught me that working with children is not good for me.
Okay.
I have a soft spot when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
Because I noticed when I was working there, I felt like I was overcompensating for some of those kids. So it's like sometimes they would get like these passes when they're doing good. They could actually go off the site on these like little trips or whatever, to like Burger King, wherever, just something outside of the institution. Yeah. And I found myself like getting very attached to them, you know what I mean? Like when they got like home passes, I would still reach out to them, and you really shouldn't have been doing that, but I would still do that. I would buy them like clothes and shoes, like just doing everything you should not be doing because I still work with these, these kids or whatever. That's right. And it just got to be too much. Yeah. Outside me being miserable, but I knew I still wanted to help, but I was like, this is just not good for me. Like I have a real soft spot when it comes to kids. Yeah. And I feel like it's just too much. Yeah. So that's why I prefer working with adults. But if I can still help a kid or child, it can't be directly. Gotcha. Because I still to this day have that soft spot.
I understood that, and it's interesting that we see that the majority of and the best clinicians that we have on our department, they had challenges, they had difficulties that they had to overcome in their youth. So there's a connectedness, oftentimes where some of the kids that they see, it's like they're seeing a little version of themselves, and I could clearly understand how there could be like a blurred line in regards to how you're trying to help that young person. You mentioned earlier having to overcome some challenges that you experienced. Care to share like what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome?
Most definitely. Yeah. So, like I said, even working with some of those kids, hearing some of their stories, what you just said, is I connected with someone. I saw myself in some of those kids. Yeah. Mainly the ones who were sexually abused. Okay. Because I was sexually abused twice as a child, as a 4-year-old, and then again as a 10 or 11-year-old by a family member. Yeah. And so it was tough. It was really, really tough. Like I said, from the age of 4 to 18, I was really like a mess. Secretly. Yeah. Like no one really knew. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I didn't tell my parents until I think I was 16 maybe. 14, 15, and 16. I remember I was in high school for sure. Yeah. I was in high school. And you ever heard stories of people like they suppress things and you kind of forget. Yeah. But then something triggers it and it comes out. Yeah. So it came out like we was home for the summer one summer, and I don't know if you remember the talk show like Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
So that happened to be on TV, and I was home. My parents were at work. I was home watching my 2 little brothers. Yeah. And it came on, and they were talking about child sexual abuse, and I don't know what it was, but it triggered me, and I remembered everything that I kind of suppressed. Wow. Okay. That's why I called my mom, just a wreck. And so it came out. Yeah. But I don't feel like I still was able to get through it the way I should have. Yeah. So mind you, 14, 15, still trying to figure yourself out. Yeah. Dealing with that. Yeah. So, like I said, graduated high school, went to college. My freshman year, I still felt like something was not just right. Right. Inside of me. I was like, you got to do something. Yeah. So I took it upon myself to reach out and get therapy. It was like a clinic down the street from the school that provided that resource. Okay. And so through that therapy, I remember very, very well, that therapist really helped me to see a whole new light. It was just like something just lit up inside of me. I was just like, it just like kind of went from gray to like bright. if that makes sense.
It does.
Through
Yeah.
therapy. And so from that, I was just like, maybe this is what I want to do.
Wow.
You know, the therapy thing.
Yeah.
So just continuing going to therapy, meeting my friends, the friends that I met at school. I always feel like they're my family.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and my wife too. I was like, because I was getting through that, and then I felt like they were like kind of like wrapping their arms around me, not even knowing, because they didn't know.
Okay.
That no one knew, but I just felt like, like they cool, they accept me for who I am. No, I don't feel like I'm being judged. It just felt right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So through the therapy and the friendship that I developed at school, I just changed.
All right.
You know, and it was a good change for me. And so I was just like, this is what I want to do. Mind you, I'm a junior at this time, pretty much almost done with my major. Like, law school is not what I want to do. I do not want to be a lawyer. I want to be able to give back to my community. I want to be able to still help kids at that time. Because I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through. And that's pretty much, I can say dying, but just that silence of just not being able to talk about it because you don't know how to talk about it. You don't know what to do, how to process things. So before therapy, music was my therapy. And that's why to this day I love 80s and all 90s music, because that music is what got me through each and every single day.
All right.
And people are like, oh, you love music? I love music.
I get
you know
that.
what I mean? Because it was cathartic for me.
Yeah.
And that was my therapy.
Yeah. So being a victim of child abuse, and that's a segment of, or that I should say it this way, that we work with an extensive number of clients who have had child abuse here. And one of the more difficult dynamics that can happen in a person is when they suppress it. And for whatever the reason is, whatever reason why they choose to, they're not, or they're either incapable of, or they make the decision that they don't want to express it. They don't want to share it. They don't want to seek therapy. So let's start there. So how was it that you came to the awareness and sought out help? And like, how were you raised in a way? What way did your parents raise you that afforded you that opportunity to be able to express and vocalize what had happened?
That's a good question. I don't really know how to answer that. I think for me, again, my grandmother, God rest her soul, she passed away when I was in 6th, 7th grade. Mind you, during the time that all this was going on. She was the closest person to me in the world. Yeah. So when she passed and then I was dealing with that, I just thought that was it for me. Like, I really had no purpose. Yeah. But I was secretly holding that inside. Yeah. But she was my biggest advocate. And she always told me, you speak up for yourself, always tell the truth, be honest. Like, she instilled all those things in me. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of helped me tell. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that was one thing. My faith. Right. In God. Yeah. That was big too. Yeah. And I think for my family, I think that's what got us through as a family. Yeah. But it didn't get me through. Okay. I was still dealing with what I was dealing with, because it was hard. It was very, very hard just trying to figure out who I am as a person. Yeah. Like, as a teenager, a lot of guys don't want to talk about this, but it's true. You're trying to figure out who you are, like, sexuality wise. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I liked women, but I still felt weird. Yeah. You know what I mean? I felt awkward. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
and just to ask that weird, with a victim of child abuse, is there a sense as if something was taken away from you? Like, naturally, innocence was taken from you. But was there, like, in regards to, like, trying to put together your identity as a man?
For sure, because...
And every day I see you, I work with you. I mean, I see that you're a stand-up man, you're a father, your husband, and so you check all of the boxes, but...
that wasn't always the case. It was, trying to fit in socially. Yeah. Was very, very hard for me. Okay. Because the person who did what they did to me, again, was a family member. Yeah. they instilled that fear in me, like if I told something bad was going to happen to me, number one. So that was one thing. And as a kid, you're impressionable. The second thing was they said, and I still to this day, I was like, how did this even happen? He said to me, you don't play with little boys. You only need to play with girls, because you play with little boys, they're going to know what happened to you, and they're going to pick on you, and they're going to do all these things. And that stuck with me. So a lot of times growing up, I always kind of swayed more with girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, getting picked on in school, like, why you with the girls? Why you like, that was hard, because it was still implanted in my head. That's what I was supposed to do. Yeah. So it's kind of hard trying to fit in, like, overall, with guys and girls. And sometimes, so a lot of times I kind of just isolated myself and went back to my music, because it was easy to do that. You know what I mean? And still trying to be there for my two younger brothers, because I wanted to make sure nothing happened to them. So it was just like being the big brother. You're trying to protect. You're trying to help out at home. So I had a lot of roles. It was just a lot going on in my head, socially, which is a lot trying to process. So it was very hard trying to figure out, where do I fit in here.
I respect
what I mean?
That. Yeah.
Which is also why it's hard for me to go back to Greenville, because all that took place there.
The history's there.
So it's like, I really don't have great memories there. I didn't have a bad childhood, because people were like, y'all ate, y'all wore nice clothes, y'all did this. All that was fine. Yeah. But that trauma is still in Greenville. Gotcha. So it's hard for me to go back there. Yeah. I do it, but I don't go home often.
Understand. And when you do go back, is there any practices that you lean to do that would fall under environmental wellness? While you're there, like, do you practice any mantras, or do you avoid certain areas, or just?
It's funny. I love food. Okay, I'm a foodie. All right. My wife wouldn't think so, but I'm a foodie. I like what I like. Let me say that. Okay. So when I do go home to my mom's house, pretty much we're at my mom's house most of the time, but I do hit up my favorite restaurants while we're there. And there's only two of them. One is Ernie's Famous Subs. Okay. And then Parker's Barbecue and Chicken. All right. I have to have those two things when I go home. Gotcha. And it makes me feel good. Okay. And it feels like home.
North Carolina barbecue.
Yes, exactly.
What you get, the ribs, the chicken, what you get?
I get the chicken in the barbecue with the coleslaw. You got to get the coleslaw. If you don't
sound like cornbread need to be somewhere near
it's
there,
in there.
too.
Oh, it comes with it. Yeah, it's a whole combo.
All right, there you go.
It's the whole thing. But, yeah, so that when I do go home, those are things that can make me feel good, when I go home. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have anxiety about going to Greenville or none of those things, because I think the therapy helped me with that. Yes. Prior to that, I did have anxiety about going home. Like, when I left as a freshman, I went home that first freshman year summer. I never went back to Greenville again. I went to summer school every year. I maybe went to friends' houses for breaks and things like that. I could not go back home because I was still dealing with it.
I understand. Respect
what I mean? So it took me a while to get to the place where I can go home. There's no anxiety, but I just don't. I don't be pressed to go to Greenville.
Understood that.
But I'll go.
Yeah. So as a follow-up question to this experience, in regards to the family member that was your abuser, what would you say was? Have you reconciled with that person? Have you what's been the process of reconciliation in regards to that person and experience?
I can't.
Understood.
Yeah. I can't. I have. They say you got to be able to forgive yourself, and you forgive the person for you. Yeah. I think I'm there. Yeah. But I don't ever want to see that. I can't.
100% respect that.
I can't at all.
Yeah, 100% respect that. So another question that I would have is, as far as, so there's the thing that happens to us, right? There's a traumatic event. There was you were assaulted, and so the trauma is the trauma. Oftentimes with these things, as Dr. Paul Conti, famous psychiatrist who wrote a tremendous book on trauma, he says that the evil accomplice to trauma is shame. And that shame is what prevents us from. It allows us to receive thoughts or think, I'm not worthy of receiving help. It happened to me because I deserved it. That negativity like that. So, what would you say was the breakthrough that allowed you to get on the other side of being ashamed of it?
Therapy.
Okay.
That was what helped me.
Gotcha.
Like, I cannot stress enough.
Yeah.
Therapy works.
Yeah.
It's real. I know a lot of people think it's taboo.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming more common now, but therapy works.
Yeah.
Like, it helps, and that's what helped me. I don't think I never blamed myself.
Good.
At all.
Good for you.
Never blamed myself.
Okay.
I think the shame of it was because you don't tell people that.
Yeah.
You don't talk. We taught
right.
not to tell.
That's right.
So I think that was the shame part of it for me.
Yeah.
But there was never a shame like I'm ashamed of what happened.
Good for you.
It was more of just what I was told. You don't talk about this.
That's right.
And I feel like the more you talk about it, the more you help yourself.
Yeah.
And you help other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially in our community. Like, as men, black men.
That's right.
We don't talk about this.
That's right.
But you have to.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. Like, it will kill you. And I felt like I was dying
Yeah.
from holding it in.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hold it no more.
I don't know what the statistics are for black males who have been victims
Just
of
1 in 4.
1 in 4. That is really insightful, and then to think that how many individuals have the support and have the capacity to share their story. You sharing your story and and revealing and having the conversation with your family, can you talk about the benefits of that for any of our listeners who have had a similar experience and have not had the ability to
talk about it?
Yeah.
I think if anybody out there listening, tell someone that you trust and you feel like you can talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. Find someone you can trust. But you gotta tell somebody.
Yeah.
Or it's like a cancer. Like, it will eat you up, and then other things start happening.
Yeah.
I got a lot of friends who like went to drugs and alcohol, or addicted to sex, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you talk about it,
Yeah.
things will start to get better.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It will. Trust me. It will
Yeah.
get better. Even talking to you today, it's helping me because it's something you're going to always live with.
That's right.
But it's how you're going to deal with it each day.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and I just want to say that I am I've always, you've always been a consummate professional around here. You're one of the stars that we have in regards to
Thank you.
your attention to detail and how you care for the clients, man. But just the courage that you've shown today and being able to share your story. It just screams authentic, and
I appreciate that.
I just say, I know that you are an inspiration to me and to others who are going to hear this. I definitely want to bring you back, and I definitely want us to continue the conversation.
More, yes.
There's a lot more that we can kind of get into, and then we can even turn this into some suggestions or recommendations for others who are out there who do need this level of care. The floor is yours. I give you the last comment, last share, thoughts, impressions.
Well, again, thank you for having me, allowing me to share my story. Like I said, there's so much more to share. I just feel like it's just something that's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
And any way that I can help someone, I'm here to do that. Because I feel like my grandmother always told me, like, be a vessel, to other people.
That's right.
And I feel like that's what I was put here to do.
All right, man.
So
appreciate you, brother.
thank you. I appreciate
Love
you.
having you around here,
Thank
man.
you.
And we're going to do this again.
For sure.
All right.
All right.
So thank you guys for checking in, and look forward for more content coming from Metalworks and us having Kishiro back again. Take care.